Hey guys, in this little Photoshop tutorial I'll be showing how I merged these 8 images together. They're pretty different as a panoramic, they're very close up and there's quite a lot of them, so it's going to be really long. It's really different from what I normally do, and how I apply really grungy effects to give a real old looking photo. This is the attempt I'd done earlier. Um, I really like how you can see all the detail in the grill and in the lights and everything. I would like to do it a bit more grungy, but at the time I didn't have certain programs which would have helped a lot more. Now I have it. It should really grunge it up, and I can't wait to see what the result looks like. Okay, so let's just open up these 8 images in Photoshop. Okay, so we're in camera raw. Just going to select a center image, so this one would do fine. As I can see from the histogram, there is a lot of shadows, but because of the grill and all that, it's fine. It's the effect I want. I want it a bit dark. So yep, that's fine for me. What we'll do is add a bit of contrast and a lot of clarity just to bring those details right out. As you can see here, you can see all the individual scratch marks and just how the paint's wearing away. So yeah, you can see there, it just brings it right out. There's no need to adjust vibrance, but you can see it adds a bit of a yellow tint to it, which I don't like really, so I'll keep that its default 0. That's pretty much it in camera raw. Might just bring the highlights down a bit, because you can see down on the bumper here it's quite bright. Okay, so I will select all the images and synchronize them, make sure everything's ticked. Don't need to worry about these 3 here, but yeah, as long as these are, and let that just sync up. I will now open the images in Photoshop. This might take some time, seeing there's quite a few, so I'll fast forward it. Okay, we got all the photos now open in Photoshop. Just double checking that they're all there and haven't missed one out. It's happened a few times. Okay, we don't need to worry about the other car in the background here, or the fence which is here. That's all going to be cropped out. Okay, so we're going to merge them as a panoramic. So we go down to automate, photo merge, and then once it loads, we will I'll go with the auto one and see how it turns out. If it's not right, then we'll go for one of these. So just add the open files. Okay, and then that will get going. It's going to take a while because I'm running so much stuff, so my computer's pretty slow at the minute. So I will get back to you when it's now done. It's merged all the photos together. Quite happy with it. There's bits missing up here, but that's because of how the photo was taken. It wasn't the easiest. Crouched down, it was cold, so yeah, it wasn't the most comfortable position taking it. So we will just go ahead and flatten the image. There's a bit of a wonky angle on it as well, which for me is quite irritating, so that's one of the first things I'll fix. That there, so we just want to get it in line, so we'll go with this line here along this black line. So yep, that's as straight as it's gonna get. Alright, just bring the crop in to get rid of all these white parts and the fence. So bring that one in there. This car as well. And bring that one up to about there. Okay. So see how that looks. So yep, I'm happy with that. Okay. So the first thing I normally do when trying to create a really grungy effect is I'll copy the layer and just do it one more time. So like keeping a layer of the default image here as well, just in case something happens. So then I'll go to adjustments, black and white, make this one black and white. You can adjust the colors if you want, but because there's not many colors on this, there's no point. And then I'll go down to overlay, or I can go to soft light, and I think soft light on this one, as you can see, it just adds a real huge amount of contrast to the image. Maybe a bit too much in the grill here. It's like pretty black, which yeah, so I'll just bring the opacity down a bit. So yep, there, so that's 45%. So yep, that's fine. So I'll just merge that one down. So there you can see the before and after. It just adds a little more contrast to it, just to help later on bring out that grunge that we want. Okay, so this is when I use something called the Nick collection, which is brilliant for any sort of photography, from landscapes to car photography to modeling, anything. It has a tool for anything you need, basically. So today I'm going to use Color Effects Pro 4, which has all your filters. There's I'm not sure how many filters, but there's plenty to choose from. This might take a while to load, so I'll get back to you. Alright, now we're in Color Effects Pro 4. This is the list of all the filters that come default with the program. I'm sure you can download more. I've not really looked into it. And so it happens to be it's on the filter that I want to use first, the detail extractor. It's probably one of the best filters in this program for a grunge effect. It's brilliant. So the effect radius, I always like using fine, so it gets real deep into the image and finds those real fine details. As you can see, it's good. Do it before and after. You can see it bringing that out. I'm going to increase the amount of detail that it's bringing out, and a bit of the saturation. Not saturation, sorry, the contrast. So there we go. You can see that real grungy effect happening. There you see. If you do it too much, it can look a bit like too much grunge. Like there, that's pretty much as grungy as you can get, and it ruins it. You can't really read the writing of the Chevy. So I'll bring it down a bit more, a bit down, tad. Okay, so a bit more contrast, I think. It's really whatever you think is the limit. Some people might think that's too much. Some people might think, oh no, make it more grungy. It's just what you prefer. And that I'm happy with that at the minute. Yeah. So next filter that I use would be I could do a cross processing if I wanted to add some color effect over the image, like a Lomo or something. Just, I won't say Instagram because I hate Instagram, but just to add a bit of color over. Quite like that one, so I might go with that one actually. You can increase the strength, which is a bit too blue and a bit too bright, so I might go with about 30%. Right, that's fine. Okay, let's get rid of that. There's plenty of filters to choose from. Architecture, you've got your sunlight filters, which are brilliant for car photos, but not in this case. White neutralizer might which can be pretty good. Just pick the whitest part of the image, which I would say is this little highlight up here, and let's see if that's made a difference. Not really, but I'll just keep it in anyway. Another thing that you might want to add is a vignette. To me, vignettes on really long panoramic images don't really work unless it's very slight, so I might add just a little one on. Yeah, that's fine. Then if you want, you can add a nostalgic film effect, which, depending on what film type you use, can go well with the car. Seeing it's quite an old, I can't remember what year this is. I know it's a C10 and it's pretty powerful. But let's try that one. Put the film strength right down. Just about, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it in Color Efex Pro 4. So we'll go ahead and add that to Photoshop, which is great because it adds it as a new layer. So if when you're looking at it like this, you think, oh, it's a bit too strong, you can just bring the opacity down. So we got our photo back into Photoshop and out of the Nik software. As you can see, it's still not completely finished. There's a few bits which need darkening and lightening, and the best way to get absolute control of where you want it dark and where you want it lighter is by creating a new layer, putting the blend mode to overlay, getting a soft paintbrush, so hardness, yeah, bring that back to 0. And for wherever you paint with black, will go darker. Obviously I've got my opacity up to 100%, so it's really black. So if I bring that down to about 15, then that should just gradually, and wherever you paint in black, just darken it. So I want to bring these bits darker again, maybe a bit more, and just around the lights as well. You don't have to be precise at all when doing it like this, and on the bumper is a bit too bright for me. So you can see by just turning that on and off where the effect's taken place. And with the white paintbrush, wherever you paint white will brighten. So let's bring back some light in these headlights, and a bit here, a bit there. Okay, this is only done really quick. I would have spent a lot more time editing this photo if I was doing it properly, but just this is quickly done and not that precise. As you can see, we've gone from, let's turn all these off, from that to that. It's really grungy. You can even make it more grungy if you want. Just I'll just fan it like this. Yeah. To make it even more grungy, you could go black and white again, overlay. Instead of bringing the opacity down too much, like last time where it was about 40%, I'll bring it to about 60, 70, and then add a layer mask. Get my black paintbrush, opacity, put it up to about 20, and wherever I think the effect's a bit too strong again, I'll just paint over. A bit too strong in the grills, but I like how it's done it on the middle part here. So yep, that just brought that grunginess out again even more. So yeah, it's all about how grungy you want it and how you like it. To me, that is enough. Maybe you could even go a little more, but then you start just ruining the image. So, and then you can just play around with the levels if you think it's a bit too dark, a bit too bright. But to me, that's fine. And with the Nick collection, you get programs like Silver Effects Pro, which is great for creating black and white images. If you want this completely black and white, you get plenty of different styles of black and white, from old film pressing to modern, crisp, no grain black and whites. Just depends how you want it. But I like the little bit of color in the headlight, in the indicator, sorry, and a bit of the yellow. Just adds to that grunginess. So that's pretty much it. That's how I do most of my grunge effects on car photos, architecture, from churches to old barns. It can be done with anything you want that effect on. So, yep, thanks for watching, and I'll post the next Photoshop tutorial up in a few days. Okay, see ya.